Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. As usual, today I continue to share with you the story of Ly Hoai Ca, a story that may not be loud or dramatic, yet is rich with emotion, where every chapter bears the quiet marks of gradual changes in both life and the hearts of each character. In previous episodes, viewers have journeyed alongside Hoai Ca and Hùng through many upheavals, exhausting periods, long-standing misunderstandings, and moments that felt as though there was no way out. Yet it was through those very challenges that they slowly learned to reflect on themselves, to listen more, to understand more deeply, and to choose staying together rather than turning away. At this point in the story, Hoai Ca and Hùng have welcomed their first daughter, a little angel who came into their family surrounded by anticipation and love. Her name is Anna, a name that may sound simple at first, yet carries profound meaning, symbolizing a new beginning and an important milestone that marks a deeper bond between two people who were once separated by mounting pressure and emotional wounds. Anna's arrival not only brings joy, but also transforms their once familiar home into a warmer, fuller place, filled with cries, laughter, and a new rhythm of daily life. In the early days with Anna, the whole family seems to slow down. Hoai Ca gazes at her child with gentle eyes, holding both nervous anticipation and happiness, along with the responsibility of a first-time mother cradling her baby in her arms. Hùng, too, gradually becomes aware of his new role, not only as Hoai Ca's partner, but as a father learning how to observe, how to care, and how to protect his small family. Things that once felt ordinary now take on different meaning, because every moment is closely tied to Anna's presence. Life in the small house flows at a gentler pace. Every morning they wake up, every shared meal, every moment the family sits together carries a sense of peace that Hoai Ca once thought she might never reach after all she had been through. Happiness is no longer something grand or distant. It exists in the simplest moments, a caring glance, a gentle reminder, or simply being there for one another during times of exhaustion. Hùng gradually grows accustomed to his role as a father, while Hoai Ca steps into motherhood with a blend of emotions, joy, worry, and quiet moments of self-adjustment. Yet above all, they are learning to nurture and protect their family together after everything that once caused them pain. Their time together may not be perfect, but it is genuine and fulfilling in its own way. Within that home, happiness is not loud or showy. It exists quietly through small gestures and familiar actions repeated each day. There are moments of fatigue from sleepless nights, moments of silence when thoughts remain unspoken, but above all is the feeling of family, a place everyone chooses to return to stay, and to keep moving forward together. From these seemingly ordinary moments, Hùng and Hoai Ca's journey of happiness continues to be written day by day, moment by moment, through a bond that is gentle yet enduring. So, stay with today's video to continue accompanying this story, to reflect on and feel the journey of Hùng and Hoai Ca in this new chapter of their lives, as they move forward in new roles, with new emotions, while carrying everything that has bound them together since the very beginning. Time passed quietly, without noise, yet long enough for everyone in the house to clearly sense each small change. Then the day Anna turned 1 month old finally arrived, like an important milestone the whole family had been silently waiting for. After discussing it together, they agreed to take her to the church to receive the sacrament of baptism, a sacred rite marking Anna's very first beginning in her life of faith. That decision gave the house a different atmosphere in the days leading up to it, both solemn and warm, with a gentle hint of anticipation. That morning, Hoai Ca woke up earlier than usual. The room was still quiet, soft morning light filtering gently through the window. She carefully lifted Anna into her arms, tenderly gazing at the tiny face sleeping so peacefully. On the bed, the pure white outfit prepared the day before lay neatly folded. Hoài Ca slowly dressed her child, layer by layer, every movement gentle and full of care, as if even the slightest force might make the baby uncomfortable. Her eyes followed every small reaction from Anna, nurturing her while silently absorbing the meaning of this moment. Hùng stood beside her, saying little, quietly helping Hoài Ca prepare the necessary things. He checked their belongings again, reminded her to drink some water, and softly told her not to rush, reassuring her that her health was still the most important thing. His words carried no excessive worry, only a natural attentiveness, habits formed during the days they had shared throughout her postpartum recovery. Hoài Ca simply nodded, feeling more at ease knowing she always had someone by her side to share the burden. Outside, Tony had already been dressed by Hùng in clothes that were neater and more formal than usual. The boy was visibly excited. From the moment he woke up, he kept asking about the ceremony, about the church, about how little Anna would become a child of God. His questions came one after another, sometimes repeated, but his voice was filled with pure curiosity and innocent joy. Hùng patiently ruffled his hair and explained in simple, unhurried words so Tony could understand. He avoided complicated concepts, choosing instead to share the meaning of the ceremony in the most familiar and gentle way. Tony listened attentively, occasionally nodding as if something had finally made sense. His eyes shone with clear happiness, a joy that was quiet yet deeply sincere. Standing near the cradle, he looked at Anna with a mix of pride and tenderness, as though he was slowly beginning to feel his new role within the family. The atmosphere in the house at that moment was light and peaceful. Everyone was busy in their own way, yet all were focused on the same awaited moment ahead, before stepping out together, naturally connected, bound by a calm and genuine sense of togetherness. When the whole family arrived at the church together, a quiet, solemn atmosphere immediately enveloped everything around them. The interior space was vast and high, with soft light filtering through the stained glass windows, reflecting gently onto the cool tiled floor. Even footsteps seemed to grow lighter and slower, as if everyone who entered instinctively adjusted their pace to blend into that stillness. Hoài Ca held Anna in her arms, each step careful and measured. She could clearly feel the small warmth of her baby pressed against her chest, Anna's breathing steady and gentle, untouched by the surroundings. Anna slept peacefully in her mother's arms, her face unusually serene. Her eyelashes rested softly, her skin rosy and delicate, showing no sign of unfamiliarity or unease. From time to time, Hoài Ca lowered her gaze to look at her daughter, her expression softening as her hand gently adjusted the thin blanket covering Anna. In that moment, she thought of nothing else, only the presence of her child in her arms, a feeling both familiar and sacred. Hùng stood close beside her, his eyes following every small movement, every gentle breath of Anna, as if wanting to etch this image into his memory. Lytutieu, Hung's younger sister, stood next to Hoài Ca in her role as the godmother. She kept just the right distance, close enough to be ready to receive the baby when the ritual required it. Her eyes, fixed on Anna, shone with unmistakable emotion, mixed with a pride she could not hide. Fully aware of her role in this ceremony, Lytutieu moved slowly and carefully. When she reached out to hold Anna, she followed exactly what she had been instructed, unhurried, composed, as though doing her utmost to preserve the solemnity of the moment. The surrounding space remained steeped in its natural silence. The prayers and readings echoed evenly, low and unhurried, making time itself seem to flow differently. Hoài Ca stood still, her hand resting lightly on her child, feeling every tiny breath. She said nothing, only listened, letting the words gradually sink into her mind. Within her, emotions did not surge violently. Instead, they settled deep and full, like a gentle but enduring current. When the holy water lightly touched Anna's forehead, Hoai Ca softly tightened her grip on Hung's hand. The gesture was small, almost instinctive, yet it carried more emotion than any words could express. In that instant, she felt something profoundly sacred unfolding, quiet, unassuming, yet deep and tranquil. Hoai Ca lowered her head, her eyes still fixed on her child, her heart growing still as worries and fatigue seemed to momentarily drift away. Hung stood beside her, his gaze never leaving Anna. Seeing his little daughter held within the circle of family, a wave of emotions welled up inside him. The exhausting days, the sleepless nights, the awkward moments of learning how to care for a newborn, all of it seemed to fade in this moment. He thought of nothing in particular, only felt the presence of his child, of Hoai Ca, of their family, like a complete picture unfolding before him. Tony stood nearby, watching everything intently. He looked from person to person, from Anna to his parents, his eyes fixed on every detail of what was happening. Unlike his usual self, Tony asked no questions and showed no restlessness. Instead, he remained silent, observing, as if trying to understand the meaning of the ceremony in his own way. Then suddenly, he reached out and took Hung's hand, a small, gentle gesture, yet clear and deliberate. Feeling his son's hand, Hung slightly bent down and squeezed Tony's hand more firmly. No words were needed, no explanations required. In that simple, a quiet yet steady connection was formed. In that moment, Hung understood clearly that his responsibility went beyond daily care. It was also about ensuring that both children always felt loved, protected, and truly belonging within this family. The church remained quiet and solemn, silently witnessing the unspoken emotions slowly spreading through each heart. The ceremony gradually came to a close, leaving behind a sense of peace and gentle calm that spread throughout the church. The solemn sounds from earlier slowly faded away, replaced by a soft, comforting silence that seemed to make everyone breathe a little more slowly, more deeply. Morning light streamed through the tall windows, falling across the rows of pews and familiar corners, as if quietly sealing the sacred moment that had just taken place. Hoai Ca's family lingered for a while longer, unhurried to leave, wanting to hold onto the lingering afterglow of the ceremony just a bit longer. They gathered to take a few commemorative photos near the ceremony area. The pictures were simple, without elaborate posing or arrangement, yet they captured perfectly this very special moment of the small family. Anna continued to sleep peacefully in her mother's arms, her face calm and undisturbed by the movement around her. Her rosy skin and steady breathing radiated a sense of serenity. Hoai Ca held her close, occasionally lowering her gaze to look at Anna, as if gently reminding herself that this moment was real, present, warm, and resting right in her arms. Tony stood nearby, his face brighter than usual. He smiled widely when the camera turned toward him, a pure and innocent smile true to his age. The initial curiosity was gone, replaced by a natural sense of ease and joy. Standing close to his parents and little sister, Tony occasionally glanced at Anna, then looked back at Hung and Hoai Ca, as if savoring the feeling of being fully embraced by his family. For Tony, this morning carried a meaning all its own, one he couldn't yet put into words, but which clearly shone through his expression. Hung stood beside Hoai Ca, one hand resting lightly on her back, a familiar gesture, quiet yet protective. He said little, simply observing those around him before turning his gaze back to his own family. Inside him was a feeling difficult to describe, both calm and warmly full. The scene before him, Hoài Ca holding Anna, Tony smiling brightly, made him realize more clearly than ever the value of things that seemed so simple. Nothing grand was needed, just having the family together, present in a peaceful moment like this, was more than enough. As for Hoài Ca, standing still in that space, she felt her heart grow lighter. A sense of inner peace spread from deep within, quiet, unspoken, yet strong enough for her to recognize the change in herself. She understood that from this day on, her daughter was not only growing older by time, but also being surrounded by faith, by blessings, and by the silent protection of family. The moment Anna was held in everyone's arms, present in that ceremony, carried a meaning Hoài Ca knew she would remember for a very long time. The story of that morning came to a gentle close, just as softly as it had begun. No climax, no upheaval, only a series of ordinary moments, rich with feeling. Hoài Ca, Hùng, Anna, and Tony left the church under the mild sunlight, carrying with them a quiet sense of peace, an invisible yet steady companion for the road ahead. Yet this was not the end. The journey of this family would continue, with everyday days still waiting ahead. There would be busy mornings, tiring evenings, moments of silence mixed with laughter, all weaving together into the familiar rhythm of a small family's life. And within those simple moments, the meaning of love and connection would continue to grow, little by little, in the uniquely gentle way of Hoài Ca and Hùng. Stay tuned for the next episode to follow the next chapters in the journey of this family. Don't forget to leave a comment, share your thoughts, and support the channel so the story can continue to be told in the episodes to come.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa tới video tiếp theo về câu chuyện của Hoài Ca và Hùng nhé mọi người. Hiện tại thì mình đang hoàn thành các bước cuối cùng. Mình cũng đã đặt tên video rồi mọi người. Bây giờ mình quay video nối nữa là mình sẽ đăng lên trong thời gian này thôi. Mình sẽ đi làm một số việc. Cảm ơn mọi người rất là nhiều vì đã theo dõi và ủng hộ cho video của Hùng. Tạm biệt mọi người, hẹn gặp lại ở video sau.